Now, two brothers are preparing for one of the hardest marathons in the country. They're all hard, aren't they? But this one especially so.
Very hard.
Kelvyn James from Penrith and his brother Danny Humphreys from Gateshead are hoping to raise thousands of pounds by running the Great Langdale Marathon.
They're doing it in memory of their mum, who was brutally murdered by her husband. All the money raised will go to a charity that helps those trapped in violent relationships. John Beaver reports.
Carol Green had only been married for a year when she was murdered by her husband Stephen. He was a heavy drinker who'd threatened her in the past. In January, she was stabbed almost 100 times at their home in Lytham St Anne's near Blackpool. Now Carol's son wants to turn a terrible family tragedy into something positive. Kelvyn and his brother Danny are raising money for Women's Aid, a charity which supports those who are victims of domestic violence. They're running one of the toughest marathons in the country at the end of the month, up and down the Lake District Fells in Langdale.
It's given us something positive to think about. You can be overwhelmed by the negative of what's happened, but in having something positive to look at and focus and work towards, it has helped. And the response we've had from people, from friends, family, but astoundingly from people we don't know, has been really quite overwhelming and very positive thing to have in your life.
The marathon is just the first step of the money-raising challenge. For Kelvyn, a difficult challenge is made harder by an old injury.
When I was 24, I had quite a bad climbing accident. I was in hospital for quite a little while, wheelchair for a while, and I'm quite determined. I think most people tell you I got that from my mum, and I was told I wouldn't walk again, so didn't really agree with that, persevered, and now we're at this stage.
As well as running arguably the hardest marathon in the UK, Kelvyn is also hoping to climb the Eiger in the French Alps next year. And his brother Danny is already halfway through running the equivalent distance of Land's End to John O'Groats. If you want to find more information, you can go to the website. The brothers are hoping to raise thousands of pounds, so what happened to their mum doesn't happen to anyone else. This is John Beaver in Langdale.
Hundreds of people will still be limping today after the Langdale Marathon in the Lake District.
Among them, a pair of brothers motivated by family tragedy. Kelvyn James from Penrith and Danny Humphreys from Gateshead ran the race in memory of their mother, Carol.
We'll be talking to them in just a minute, but first, John Beaver has this report.
It's known as one of the toughest road races in the world. Around 500 people took part in the Langdale Half Marathon at the weekend. The scenery was pretty, but for the competitors, the view is ruined by knowing that they had to run up these hills. For some, it was all over after one lap. For 200 others, it was round twice for the full marathon. Amongst them, brothers Danny Humphreys and just a few minutes behind, Kelvyn James. The pair were running in memory of their mum, Carol. She was murdered in January by her husband, Stephen Green. He's been imprisoned for life. Many running were raising money for charity for Danny and Kelvyn. That charity is Women's Aid, helping support the victims of domestic abuse. Wearing 125 and going like an express train, Danny was the first to finish and not looking too bad after 26 miles and 385 yards. Cheered on by friends and family, Kelvyn wasn't too far behind. Between them, they've raised around £7,000. Much needed massages were on hand for those who wanted them, but Danny and Kelvyn are already planning their next adventures.
In reality, we did this because it was the toughest one in the UK, and I know why now, and I've done it and I'm really happy, but I think once is good enough. I think I'll do some other challenges. How about you?
I'm going to be training for the Eiger and I'm not coming back here in a hurry. It's, no, once is enough, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, tick, done. That's it. Finished.
Yeah. And in case you didn't think this race was tough enough, spare a thought for Carl the Penguin.
There's fish at the end for you.
Who finished the course in a very respectable time of just under 5 hours. This is John Beaver in Langdale.
Always good to beat a penguin. Danny, Kelvyn, good to see you both.
Hi there.
And congratulations on your achievements. Aches, pains, with hindsight, was it a good idea?
I don't think so. My legs aren't thanking me today. I tell you, woke up this morning and I just couldn't move. So you're all right, though, aren't you?
Well, your T-shirts proclaim this is the world's toughest road. Kelvyn, you picked the toughest event you could think of for a very special reason, because you've been through such a tough time.
Yeah, it seemed logical. We didn't want to do something that was an easy challenge for people. It had to be, you know, the circumstances. We lost my mum, our mum. It had to be something tough, and it doesn't come a lot tougher than Langdale.
Had you done anything like this before?
No, I'd made a really good effort to avoid running for the last 20 years. Wasn't my thing at all. We started in February from scratch.
We had some pictures of the Great North Run a couple of weeks ago, and there were people lining the streets all the way, 54,000 people. It's not like that, is it?
No, it's a slightly more solitary marathon, should we say. And there was quite a few people in the first half of the race is done by the people doing the half marathon. The second half, you basically watch them finish, you try and ignore that, and you know you've got another lap. So it's very much a case of thinking, well, you know, head down, this is what we came for, and this is what we're raising money for. But there wasn't a lot of enjoyment in it.
A lot of time to think, though, particularly on that second lap, about your motivation, the fundraising, the awareness, the catharsis, perhaps, for you.
Yeah, it's what we've trained for. It's why we were there. If you could get past the pain in your legs, it was quite an enjoyable day. You know, we got a lot of support from people. I hope we did our mum proud, and I hope it made a few people think about why we were there.
And to raise £7,000 is a tremendous amount of money, isn't it, towards the fund?
We're very happy. We've had a lot of people support, you know, and during the training, which we did months of training for this, you know, it was no easy feat. A lot of people, the things they said, the donations they made, it was very empowering, you know, and we felt good, and we hope we've generated a lot of positivity off what we've done.
A lot of awareness as well, guys. Really well done. A lot of money for Women's Aid. If one woman who needs their assistance picks up the phone, it's well worth it.
Definitely. Very much so.
Good luck with your next challenges.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.